Sagittarius, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of June. So before I get started here, this is going to be most applicable for your rising sign. And so if you're not sure what that is, you will need to run a free birth chart, knowing where you were born, what time you were born. It is your ascendant or that zodiac sign that rules your first house. It's also applicable for your sun sign. We all pretty much know what that is. And then also your moon sign. And so if you don't know what your moon sign is, when you run your birth chart, you'll be able to get that too. And so the differences between those three. So rising sign is how other people perceive you, especially the first time that they meet you. Your sun sign is how you express yourself. And then your moon sign is really how you process everything emotionally. And so just to talk about the month of June and just the energy here, I'm a Sagittarius sun, so I absolutely love the way that this is going to play out for us. So this is in your 7th and 8th houses because we have a lot of Gemini energy and a lot of Cancer energy. And so Gemini being the opposite sign of us. And so for us, that would be that house of partnerships, significant relationships. 8th house energy is death and rebirth. And so this is all about some sort of transformation. So transformation with the intent of growth and all of those things that come with it. Intimacy issues, it does, like power and control, things like that are kind of incorporated within this house. So it's not known as one of those positive houses. It's actually a malefic house, but it is also about money coming in from an outside source. So think of inheritance or the money that you earn or your spouse's income, because we do have 7th and 8th house here. It could be connected to a spouse and the money that person makes. So just kind of keep that in mind. Just to kind of start off the month here, so we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Gemini. So that happens on the 3rd at 3:37 in the morning Eastern time. And so this is all about conversations taking place within that house of significant relationships. So those one-to-one relationships. And these are the people that have some sort of meaning in your life. It is known as the house of marriage, but not everybody's married. Not everybody wants to be married. And so it would be somebody that's a really significant partner for you, your significant other in some sort of way. And so when Mercury enters the sign of Gemini, it's actually going to be conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. And so Jupiter just moved into Gemini a few days before the month started, so probably about a week here. And so this is all about growth and expansion when it comes to those relationships. And so really keep that in mind because that's really, really positive here. Again, do love how this is shaping up for us. We'll also have Mercury conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so Uranus is one of those transformational planets. In the sign of Taurus, it's very grounded, very practical. There's a focus on what you value. And it's actually sitting in the 6th house of daily routines. And so these would be conversations with your significant other as they relate to maybe changes that you want to make or changes that are happening in your daily life. And so daily life can mean a lot of different things. Think of it as the things you do on a regular basis. It's not like a strict every single day kind of energy. It's just the things that you routinely do. But this would incorporate any kind of fitness, health, nutrition. All of these things are part of that daily routine. It's not just about work. It's just not about those kind of more like Monday through Friday. There's a lot more to it than that. We'll also have Mercury sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so Neptune in Pisces, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So this is a big emphasis on the things that you want in life, like those things that you kind of strive for, those goals, those dreams that you have for yourself. This is sitting in your 4th house, so 4th house of home. And so conversations with your significant other are creating some sort of opportunity for you to have the home that you desire. So is it you're looking for a bigger home? Because we do have Jupiter and Gemini. So what kind of growth, what kind of expansion? Is this coming together with another person and talking about maybe moving in together, building some sort of home together, maybe not physically, but kind of expanding your home and your relationship that way? We'll also have Mercury in Gemini sextile Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So that was a mouthful. But that Pluto retrograde is another one of those transformational planets. It's actually sitting in a transformational sign, Aquarius. Aquarius is liberating. It does not like structure. It does not like conformity. It is the rebel. And so Pluto retrograde indicates that there's going to be some sort of change that's reflected inward, something here that's meant to liberate you. So break free from whatever restrictions may have previously been in place. And this is a result of conversations with your significant other. There's something where you start getting into the details and it's creating these opportunities for you to maybe think differently because this is sitting in your 3rd house. 3rd house being communication, short distance travel, your siblings, maybe your neighbors, kind of those things in close proximity to you. But because it is communication. It's not just the words that you speak, it's how you process everything internally. So there could be additional changes taking place within you and how you see the relationship, maybe how you understand your role within the relationship, because that Gemini energy really wants to get into the details. It just loves to talk. In fact, Mercury in Gemini, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, so lots of conversation highlighted here. And then on the 6th, we'll have the new moon in the sign of Gemini. So that's going to happen at 8:38 in the morning Eastern time. And so when this happens, you have the sun and the moon. They're at the same degree point in the sky. The energy is very blended together, but they're not the only ones at 16 degrees of Gemini. Venus is also there. And so this is a really good time for relationships in general. Venus is all about bringing things together. It's the ruler of both Taurus and Libra. And so it loves to focus on what you value, what you want here. Some sort of a synergy, harmony, let's bring things together. Let's create something here that's very balanced. And so when this new moon happens, I mean, the emphasis on this significant relationship. So again, if you're married, it would be your marriage partner. If not, then it would be that relationship that kind of, if you're in one, it would be like that. If it's not about that, then it could be just those other significant relationships in your life where it is truly that one-to-one relationship. So the sun and moon and Venus all at the same degree point, but they're actually going to be conjunct Mercury as well. So this is really just highlighting more conversation, maybe understanding things on a much deeper level, just because Gemini does like to go into that details, like really digging deep into the details here. And then we'll have the sun and moon trine the south node in the sign of Libra. And so Venus, again, being this, the ruler of Libra, this is actually another one of those really positive energies. And so when it comes to discussing how you feel with your significant other, getting into the details, really seeing things as they are, because that sun is illuminating everything, there's a trine to the south node. And so this trine means there's an easy flowing energy. South node in Libra feels very comfortable to have kind of conversations where bringing things together. Libra for you is in the 11th house. And so this would be having conversations with your significant other that also flow into balance and harmony with your group of friends as well. And so there's a lot of kind of coming together, things kind of working out the way, or, I would say the way that they should. This is going to feel very comfortable. South node is a very comfortable type of energy. These are lessons that have already been learned. We'll also have the sun and moon sextile the north node in the sign of Aries. And so north node for you is in the 5th house. 5th house being children, hobbies, anything that you enjoy doing in your free time. I was going to say short-term relationships, but because there's so much emphasis on a significant relationship here, I don't think that's going to be the case, at least not this time around. But with the conversations that you're having with your significant other, I surely don't think you're going to have anything around a side lover. I just don't. But it is creating some sort of opportunity here for you to really step out into some sort of leadership role or take some sort of assertive action. Maybe have the conversation, initiate the conversation about having children, if that's what you want to do. Or it could be doing something with your hobby, like really stepping out here and doing something. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable to start with, but this is one of the lessons that you need to learn. And then we'll have the sun and moon square Saturn in Pisces. And so we're going to see a couple of squares as they happen with both Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. And so Pisces occupies your 4th house. So this is your 4th house of home. And so this is about conversations with your significant other, how you feel. Again, we had growth and expansion a couple of days before this, so that energy is still there. It's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to maybe working from home or the work that you want to do on your home. There's something here that it requires some sort of effort on your part, and it comes down to your home or home environment. And then on the 9th, we'll have Mars enter the sign of Taurus. So that's going to happen at 12:35 a.m. Eastern time. And so Mars is the planet of action. This is really decisive action here. In Taurus, it's very grounded, it's very practical, with an emphasis on what you value. It's going to actually be conjunct Chiron in Aries. And so Chiron is the wounded healer. And in the sign of Aries, this is the action. So Mars is actually the ruler of Aries. So you can see that there's a lot of action trying to take place here. And so what this means for you is the practical action that you're taking in your daily life, because that's where it hits in your chart, is blending with any kind of wounds that are coming to the surface as they relate to having children, starting a family, or it could be the confidence you need in starting your hobby, like as a side hustle that maybe becomes a business or something along those lines, because this is all about wounds connected to your free time. So think of all the time that you spend outside of work. How do you enjoy doing that? And then what kind of wounds is this giving you a chance to heal? Because there's a daily life wound healing taking place here. We'll also have Mars in Taurus square the moon in Cancer. And so the moon is the ruler of Cancer. This is all about your emotions. So think deep on these emotions. Cancer is a very emotional sign. In fact, it's probably the most emotional sign, especially out of all the water signs. So it's all about those practical action. It's creating some sort of obstacle challenge to what you feel. And so for you, this is the actions that you're taking in your daily life to kind of create or establish some sort of stability, something that you value here. It's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to something that's trying to transform within you. So this could be something, because it's that 8th house energy, there might be something here that you know you need to let go of, and there might be some resistance to that, but you can work with this energy. It's a square. It's not like a complete roadblock. You just have to work through it. Mars in Taurus will also square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so again, the action that you're taking in your daily life to kind of really stabilize or do something that's very grounded and practical in your daily life is creating obstacles and challenges to maybe how you feel about things, or maybe the way that you start to communicate. Maybe there's some sort of change happening here and you start to view things differently. You start to speak about things differently, because that can absolutely be highlighted here. And then on the 17th, we actually have 2 planets move into the sign of Cancer. So the first one is Venus. So that happens at 2:20 in the morning Eastern time. And so Venus moves into Cancer, but it's conjunct the sun in the sign of Gemini. And so this is a 7th house, 8th house connection. So we've got Venus in Cancer. So how do you feel about the changes taking place? Is there something coming to the surface? Thinking back to that Chiron energy, is there something coming to the surface that you need to let go of? And then how does your conversation with your significant other kind of aid in that? Because this is a real blending of the energies. And so there's something really balanced and harmonious about this entire interaction. We'll also have Venus in Cancer conjunct Mercury in the sign of Gemini. So lots of conversations around what's changing, what needs to change, what do you need to let go of? Maybe even from, again, a couple of days prior, what you're healing from. We'll also have Venus in Cancer trine the moon in Libra. And so moon in Libra, again, moon, all about your emotions. Libra, it's all about balance. And so there's an easy flow to the energy as far as the valuable changes that you're making to yourself, because you're focused on what you want to keep, what you want to grow within you, and let go of things that don't need to be there. That also aligns with your friends and your group of friends and just how you feel about those. And so there's a real synergy coming into play here where everything seems to be coming together with your significant other, with maybe healing some wounds, changes in your daily life, your friends, all of these things are really coming together. And then we'll have Venus in Cancer sextile Mars in Taurus. And so the transformation that you're feeling, or any kind of changes that are taking place here, and Venus in Cancer, because it's more than just transformation. This could be connected to outside money as well. So kind of think of it through that lens. It's creating an opportunity for you to take additional action in your daily life. And so if there is something coming in because of that Venus in Cancer, I am getting money, and I don't know why I keep getting money, but there's something about money. There might be a conversation around money that creates an opportunity here for additional changes within your daily life. And then we'll have Venus in Cancer square Neptune in Pisces. And so this is one of those obstacles or challenges that are coming in as they relate to your home environment. So what kind of home do you want? What kind of changes are taking place within you? What are you healing from? All of those things. And it's creating that obstacle or challenge. But by the time we get to the end of the month, there is going to be an opportunity to heal that. And I'll talk about that when I get there. Then a couple hours later, we have Mercury enter Cancer. So that's going to happen at 5:07 in the morning Eastern time. And so when Mercury moves into Cancer, Venus just did. So the two of them on top of each other, essentially. They're at the same 0 degree point in the sign of Cancer. And so very blended energy here, conversation around how you feel about the changes that are taking place. Maybe how do you feel about things that you need to let go of? How do you hold on to what you want to keep here? Like, how do you bring things together in your life? There's a lot of that type of energy right now with this Mercury entering Cancer. And so it doesn't have to be some sort of outward communication either. It could just be this internal processing of all the information that you're now seeing and really understanding, because you just came out of Gemini energy, which was getting into all the details and things coming to the surface in that respect. And then we'll have Mercury in Cancer conjunct the Sun in Gemini. And so the Sun in Gemini, again, in your 7th house of your significant other, we'll just call it your significant other. And so the changes and how you feel about that, maybe conversations taking place between you and your significant other around everything that's happening here. This does feel like it's very positive. And then we'll have Mercury in Cancer trine the Moon in Scorpio. And so the Moon's a very fast-moving energy. It changes signs every couple of days. It's a little bit more technical than that, but just, you know, we know that the new moon, the full moons are roughly once a month. And so with this Moon in Scorpio, there is a feeling of transformation, quite literally, because Scorpio is the sign of transformation, and then Moon is all about your feelings. That is actually sitting in your 12th house, which is the house of the subconscious. So this is how you feel about yourself. That's the one that's coming to the surface. Because it's also things hidden just away from the public, but it feels a lot like there's a lot of transformations taking place here, because we have Mercury in Cancer. So how do you feel about all those changes taking place? Are you having conversations about those internal changes? And then it seems to be aligning with the changes that you want to make to yourself, or that you are making to yourself. And so there's a lot of this internal transformation energy taking place around the 17th. And then this Mercury in Cancer will also create a square to Neptune in Pisces. Not a surprise. I mean, Venus just did a couple hours before. And so this Neptune in Pisces, when it comes to your ideal home life, maybe the physical structure itself, what is your ideal home? How you feel about everything that's changing is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to the home life that you want for yourself. And then on the 20th, we have the Sun move into Cancer. So literally within 3 days, we have 3 planets moving into the sign of Cancer. And so obviously when this happens, Mercury and Venus just moved here. So the Sun, Mercury, Venus, all in really close quarters to each other, lots of conversation between the 3. So this is really highlighting how you feel about everything that's taking place, maybe communicating, holding on to what you value, what you want, and then letting go of the rest. And then the Sun in Cancer will also square Neptune in Pisces, because of just the timing of when everything takes place, because we still have Pisces in this, or Neptune in the same location. It's a very slow moving planet. And so this Sun in Cancer is really highlighting here those obstacles and challenges to having the home life that you desire, or the physical home that you desire. Then on the 21st, we have the full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So that's going to happen at 9:08 p.m. Eastern time. And so when this happens, we have the sun and the moon. They're at opposite points in the sky. This is a push-pull type of energy, always a push-pull type of energy. And so the Sun in Cancer is sitting in your 8th house. And so 8th house is more than transformation. It is also other people's money. So think of the money that you make from your job, an inheritance, your spouse's income. It's opposite the moon in Capricorn. And so the moon in Capricorn is this sense of duty and responsibility. And so for you, that is sitting in your personal finances. So you can kind of see where there's this push-pull between your finances, the money you earn and the money you save. So there's something about that and your sense of responsibility around both. So when this happens, they are in a push-pull. You can find the happy medium between the two. But because the Sun is in the sign of Cancer, well, it's there with Mercury and it's there with Venus. And so the Sun is conjunct both of those planets. And so this is about easily expressing how you feel about things, being very grounded and very practical and focused on what you value here. But because the Sun is near those planets, the moon is opposite those planets. And so this sense of duty or responsibility you feel to creating your own financial security, or just your maybe savings plan in general, there is some sort of push-pull that's taking place here. And so again, when it comes to the money that you're making, how does that relate to a savings plan or your investment strategy or any kind of nest egg that you're creating for yourself? Because that's what's happening here. There is a push-pull. And then this is interesting because we have the Sun and the moon, both on their own, creating a square to Neptune and Pisces. And so when you think about your finances, the money coming in from an outside source, the money that you have, they're both creating obstacles or challenges to the home that you desire, or the home life that you desire. Probably more realistically at this point, the home, just because there's such a connection with the money, and it could be around buying a house, or it could be something connected to expanding a house, or, you know, remodeling, things like that. So there's this square that makes it difficult, but not impossible. And then the moon is also having other conversations. So the moon in Capricorn will trine Mars in the sign of Taurus. And so when it comes to your sense of responsibility and the duty that you feel to create your own savings, your own financial security here, it is easily flowing with the actions that you're taking in your daily life. And so there's something here that you're taking, or some sort of action that you're taking, that's helping you to work on your finances in a way that you want. And then the moon in Capricorn is trine Chiron in Aries. And so this one here is an interesting one, because the way that you save money, or your relationship with money, that sense of duty and responsibility you feel to yourself as it relates to maybe your own personal assets, money, things like that, it easily flows with whatever wound is coming to the surface. There's some sort of healing energy that happens between your finances, and it could be children, a wound connected to children, or it could be connected to your hobbies, things like that. Like maybe you've always wanted to pursue a specific hobby, but you knew you needed to buy the supplies, buy the equipment for it, and you were never able to do it. And the one that I'm getting is stained glass. So stained glass is expensive if you've never thought to explore that as a hobby. I know people that have done it. It is very expensive. And so this could be something where, like, you've been saving up and now you never thought you'd be good enough, or you never thought this was a real opportunity, but people have told you that you have a talent for this. And so it would be able to take the money, invest in that, and let that become something. And so these are kind of maybe some of the ways that this wound is healing. If it is children, it's connected to money and children. So this might feel like, you know, you've set yourself up in such a way that you would have the money to have children. You wouldn't feel like you would have to live paycheck to paycheck or something along those lines. And that would be significant if you grew up poor, because I'm definitely getting that energy, that message coming through. So coming to the end of the month, so when I talked about all of those obstacles and challenges as they relate to your home life, here with Saturn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces, this is where you get the opportunity to really work on that. And so Saturn will station retrograde on the 29th at 3:06 in the afternoon Eastern time. And so Saturn retrograde, Saturn's all about work, responsibility, duty, obligation, those type of things. It can also be limiting in a lot of ways, very restrictive. And this Saturn retrograde has you doing all the work internally instead of externally. So in the sign of Pisces, Pisces ruling your fourth house of home, this is really giving you an opportunity to really think about, okay, what is it that I need to work on if I want my dream home? That's what that literally means. But Saturn retrograde in Pisces will be trine Mercury in Cancer. And so this is where all of those details that you've been learning throughout the month, getting into like that nitty gritty with your partner and maybe the home life that you want, the daily routines, the kids, all of these types of things. What kind of internal work are you willing to do on your home that will easily flow with the changes that you want to make here? And having conversations around it, really understanding here, okay, well, in order for me to maybe be able to have children, I need to have more bedrooms, or something along those lines, or more space in general. And so these would be the types of things where you have to work on your internally work to get the home life that you want. Or maybe it could come into like a work-life balance. That could be highlighted here. Maybe in order for you to have that home life that you want and have the children that you want, you need to work less or work from home more. That would be highlighted here. So Saturn retrograde in Pisces will also trine Venus in Cancer. So it's, again, really focused here on what you value, what's changing, what needs to stay and grow, and what do you want to nurture, because that's that Venus energy, it's nurturing. Saturn retrograde will also sextile Mars in the sign of Taurus. And so this is where an opportunity is created. It's one you would have to action, but I love to see this because it's giving you an opportunity to make more grounded changes in your daily life. And so what you can kind of see happening here is where we had some obstacles and challenges going throughout the month, as far as I'm learning all this about my partner. We're having these really deep conversations, getting, figuring out our life plan together, or, kind of continuing it if you're already in it. And now what you're doing is, okay, well, in order to achieve it, there's things that I need to do. And so at the end of the month, you start working on them, specifically when it comes to your home and your home life. And so this is why I really like this month for Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.